always sift through videos on YouTube every once in a while. I'll just type in like Googan Squad or Googan Rod or what did you type in this time, Steven? It popped up. Steven, this came up with Steven recommended. There was a gentleman reviewing this rod, and he said it was a turd. And he pulled out his, remember that one rod that I used, the H2O Metal, and it kind of broke on camera comparing it, and he said that that rod was a lot better. And I was like, Steven, look at that. That looks pretty good.
Did Lunker just call? Did he just talk about me?
That's a straight curve.
Bob, did I just get a Lunker shout out? Did I just get a Lunker shout out? Marley. Marley, did you see that? Did you see that? Look. I got a Lunker shout out. Let me hear that one more time. Let me hear that one more time.
So you guys know I always sift through videos on YouTube every once in a while?
Listen.
I'll just type in like Googan Squad or Googan Rod or what did you type in this time, Steven? It popped up. Steven, this came up with Steven recommended. There was a gentleman reviewing this rod, and he said it was a turd.
It's not a turd. It's not a turd.
One rod that I used, the H2O Metal, and it kind of broke on camera.
Hey, that's a good rod.
See, look at that. I mean, that looks pretty good.
This is hilarious.
I don't know. I think we need to give this thing a dangle today. That's
High five.
a straight curve. Kids. And I think this is, I mean, that's pretty high speed.
All right, y'all, today we're gonna get down and dirty. We're gonna compare all my spinning rods. They're all actually right around the same price range, all under 100 bucks, I'll say that. And you'll see why, compared to the other ones in the same price range, why the Googan Rod wasn't a great buy to me, and why I believe that you could get something higher quality for a little bit cheaper. I'm talking like 10 bucks cheaper. Not a big deal. So we're gonna start with this rod. I have no idea what it is. I'm sure I bought it for one of my kids. It's just an angler spinning rod. I'm venturing to guess $19 to $29. Not a big fan of it. This is the H2O Express MX 300. I don't believe it's still on the market, but I want to say the rod, or the reel itself, costs about 40 bucks. This is the Stik GX2 by Shakespeare, $49. This is the MX Metal. No, I'm sorry, the H2O Express Metal, about $79. And then the Googan Squad reel, $59. So all really close in the same. And I'll be the first to say it. I'm sure that the Googan Rod is the only rod that can pull a truck. Like, I'm not arguing that. I'm not gonna say that this rod is, that any of these rods are better. My concern is the reel. Right, I don't expect to pull any trucks with my rods. I will be upset if I do happen to catch a 10 to 12 pound bass if my rod breaks on one of the other ones. Just don't foresee that happening anytime soon. So I'm gonna go over each one, and you'll kind of see what I like about each one and what I don't like about each one. So here we go. All right, so I'm gonna start off with a super cheap, it's called Angler. No idea where I even got it from. But I am sure that, you know, I have 2 kids, and I like to take my kids fishing, so I buy, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of money on a 4-year-old fishing rod, but I don't want the little Spider-Man rod that lasts 10 seconds. So just off this one, cheap little rod. I've had it, and you got to remember, I've had all these for a while, except for the Googan, but the Googan's been in my rotation for quite a bit. So on this one, just a smooth cast, and if you listen to the reel in, a little noisy, but not too bad. But a little noisy. And this one is not in my regular rotation. This one is just in my stockpile of stuff. But it's still kind of noisy, and that's what I don't like. The other thing I don't like is just the metal on here. It's just cheap, like it's already kind of bent, you know what I mean? And it's just very plasticky. Like, you guys know the feeling whenever you feel something that's not very quality made. And that's why, you know, everybody gave me, you know, everybody griped about about reviewing that rod without actually using it yet. And here's the deal. I know how they feel. I know how a cheap rod feels. I have lots of cheap rods. I'm very aware. So this one, great casting, smooth end. The only gripe I have is the noisiness and just the cheap feeling of the reel. And the rod on this one is absolutely junk, so the favorite definitely wins over this one, but you'd expect it to. This is like a $19 or $29 reel. All right, so we're gonna switch over now, and we're gonna go, let's see. So we'll go with the GX2 by Ugly Stik, or made by Shakespeare. And this one I have had for probably 3 years now. 3 years. It cost $49. And listen. Now, the cast on this isn't great, but I actually use this one for when I'm fishing for catfish now. So I've got some heavy braided line on it. But just that this thing has lasted so long, and listen, you hear that? That just recently started sounding like that. Like, usually it was really smooth. I think I'd throw some oil on it and I'll be good to go with this rod. But again, I use it for catfish, so I typically just put a bunch of weights on it, toss it out there, and let it sit until I get a bite. I'm not doing a lot of casting with it. But I do really like this rod. Like, this is my old trustworthy one. If I'm pitching some jigs and some really heavy brush, like, this is the one that I go with. Now, I don't know if this rod would pull a truck, but it's definitely one of my stronger ones. And really, this is the main one that I'm comparing that Googan one to, because it is cheaper, and just the longevity of it. It's pretty impressive. I've had it for a while, and I go through lots of rods. You know, if you fish off a kayak, you know that you go through lots of rods because you get hung up on a lot of stuff and you break a lot of rods. And this one has just been a champ through all of it. So this is my main comparison that I have to the Googan rod. So when I'm doing that review and I'm sitting there thinking, it's just not worth what they're asking for it. Like, you could get something better for cheaper. This is what I'm referring to. Definitely. All right, let's get another one. All right, now we're gonna go with, this is the H2O Express Metal. And I'm not claiming to be any kind of real expert. I'm just saying, you know, I fish a lot and I fish for a while, and I know what feels good to me, and I know what I like. And what I'm saying is, this one, for $10 more than the Googan rod, feels better. It casts better. It reels in better, right? For $10 more. You hear how silent? Again, in my regular rotation, but just absolute silence. Could the rod pull a truck? Absolutely not. It's a very flimsy rod. I think this is only a 6.6. I'm not sure what the Googan one is. I can't remember. But it's a flimsy rod. Could it pull in a 10-pounder? I don't know. I haven't caught a 10-pounder, so I'm not concerned about it. So that's the H2O Express Metal. Here's the H2O Express MX 300 on the roughneck rod. So 7-foot medium action. It's got a little jig on there. This one is actually my favorite rod of all of them. Even my Lose Mach Speed 2 bait caster thing. This one right here is my smoothest my favorite rod. Absolutely favorite. Hands down, is my favorite. God dang, those fish are jumping over there. We're going over there. Forget this. Let's finish this thing up and go over there. But again, this one just smooth, easy to cast. Love it. This one right around the same price as the Googan Rod. All right, let's get down to the Googan Squad. So let's start off with what I don't like about the Googan Squad rod. I don't like that it's a two-piece. I don't like it. Twice now, and again, the Googan Rod is in my regular lineup, and twice now I've casted and it has split. Golly, I gotta get over there now. But it's split twice now. But can you hear it? Regular lineup, and man, it's already noisy and loud. And that happened about the second time out that I was on my kayak fishing with it, and it immediately started sounding like that. So it's not a super smooth reel when you reel in at all. See? It is not a light reel. It is heavy. It's got some weight to it, which is probably why it can pull a truck. So the rod may be absolutely amazing. This rod may be absolutely amazing. I don't like the two-piece part, but yeah, it's strong. But that's all I don't like is all these things. Look, the screws are already rusted. They're rusted already. And you may say that I may not take care of them, but my other ones aren't like that. You know what I mean? It's noisy. I don't like how noisy it is. And it's heavy. And for me, and again, like I guarantee everybody has a different preference. I like a lot of flimsiness to my rod. So whenever I'm popping my jig, or when I got a top water on there and I'm trying to walk the dog with it, I like a lot of play. And this just doesn't, it's very stiff. But again, that's my preference. That's just what I like. I do use this. This is in my regular, like I said, this is in my regular rotation. Every time I go fishing, every time I take my kayak out, this is one of the 3 or 4 rods that I bring. And am I mad that I bought it? No, I'm not mad that I bought it. Look, it looks cool. And by the way, I'm a huge Googan Squad fan. Not all of them. I mean, they're all good guys, but I mainly watch LFG and Lunkers. So, and I've never seen them use this. I've seen Lunkers test it on pulling trucks, but I've never seen them use it. And Flair may use it. He may not use it. AP Bassing may use it. He may not use it. I don't know. I don't really watch those guys that much. But to sum it up, my whole point is I just think you could get a higher quality rod for cheaper. Not a whole lot cheaper. Not a whole lot higher quality. Look. I'll pay for the paint. I think the paint's cool. And if I didn't compare this to my Lose Mach 2 speed, my nice bait casting reel, I didn't mean to, I wasn't trying to compare it in the other one either. I liked that they matched. But I hope you can hear that and see the rustingness to it. It just has a cheaper feel to it. I like the Googan Rod. Nothing wrong with the Googan Rod. Well, there's some stuff that I don't like about it, but I think it's more personal preference. This one I get because I got lots of rods, and I like to have extra rods because I like to rig them up differently when I take them kayaking. And I like the Googan Squad. I think they're cool. Cool guys. They got me really into fishing. So that's my opinion. If you have an opinion, you're welcome to have that opinion. You're welcome to disagree.
All right, so I hope you liked the video. Like, no kidding, I've been wanting to do another like review of the Googan thing, the Googan Rod, for a while. Like, I've said it in a few videos, like, I'm gonna do this review. And this morning I got up super early. I wanted to make breakfast. I already had my kayak loaded. I had my fishing gear loaded. And while I was making breakfast, I was like, hey, let me see what the old Googan Squad's posted lately. So I watched Lunker's video, and I got a shout out, I think. Unless there's another person that did a review that also had another poll that started with an L, who called the Googan Squad rod a turd. Let me clarify. It's not a turd. It's not a turd. It's not a turd. I think the reel could be a little bit better. I might take my H2O metal reel and put it on the Googan Squad rod, because he's right. That rod is amazing. It's super strong. I care about the reel more than I do the rod, but whatever. But I think it's super cool that, you know, I post some cheesy YouTube review of a rod, and look, I got a little call out by my favorite YouTuber. So appreciate that there, Lunkerstv.